Ladies and gentlemen, baby, we are about to begin the greatest guitar stream of all time. Baby. So buckle up, get ready, and let's go. Baby. We are starting shortly. Baby. Yeah! Woo! What's happening? Ladies, gentlemen, happy Saturday! Happy Saturday! Happy Sunday! I don't know where you are. Hello! Woo! Oh, baby. It is the weekend. It really is. It really is! Oh my. My. The devil's in the details. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for us to talk about electric guitars? Are you ready? Or is it like some classical guitar player thing that you're on right now? Are you ready? Playing with the monsters. That's right. That's exactly right. Because in this stream, we're athletic. It's not some classical guitar player, my guitar has a hole. I have to, hold my hand in that angle. None of that. Woo! What's happening? Yeehaw! Hello! How's everybody? Happy Saturday, y'all. Happy Saturday, happy Sunday. I don't know where you are. Hey, Zuhair! What's happening, baby? It's Zuhair on, everybody. What's up? It's the man with the heavy PRS guitar. How are you doing? My goodness, it's so good to be on, man. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'll tell you this. I got the Rona a few days ago. I was on my way home, sitting in a train, and there's this guy sitting in front of me, and he's sneezing, and he doesn't look alright, and I knew it right on the spot that I'm screwed. I'm like done. And he kind of looked like a classical guitar player too. I'm not gonna lie. He was too formal, sitting there looking a bit like unnecessarily snobbish, the whole package, right? And he started sneezing and looking dead, and he looked like a zombie. And I was like, oh God, I'm gonna get it. And I got it. So yeah, it's so good to be back, man. Today is the first day that I got my voice back. Zuhair says, oh, nice Jackson V King back there. Yeah, that's Corey Baylor's signature, dude. Thanks. It is a King V, Jackson. You got it right. So yeah, when I tell you, it's good to be back and talk to you guys, you know I'm telling you the truth, because my gosh, the past 4 days were not nice at all. So it's good to see everybody. It really is. All right, we do have a very, very packed docket today. However, I want to tell you this. What happened was this week was, I don't know, I was a little slow, or whether the news week in the guitar was really slow. With that said, we're gonna first talk about Angel Vivaldi's new Nova, Charvel Nova. We're gonna talk about that. It's a 7-string, and it's an interesting guitar. We're gonna talk about that. Then we're gonna talk about Joe Satriani commenting on vintage guitars, and that's an interesting discussion about vintage guitars. And I want to then introduce you to a vintage guitar later too. Fernandes guitars, a Japanese legendary guitar company, files for bankruptcy. Mesa Boogie comes out with a new, kind of a, not really new, but kind of new amplifier. And then lastly, we're gonna talk about a surprise guitar. It is a surprise guitar. It is a vintage guitar. And one of our viewers actually bought it and told me about it. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting guitar. I really got to do a discussion on that. So we're going to be talking about that guitar as well, which one of our viewers bought. And it's a very interesting guitar. Not going to lie, you guys. So, by the way, if you guys buy a new guitar, you get a new gear, and you want to talk about it, do comment it in some of the videos that I post online. If you're on Instagram with me, you can message me there. If you're on X, following me on X, you can message me there. Let me know. And I'd love to bring it up here and we can have a nice chat about it. Because the thing is, when people come in and buy a new gear, it's always an interesting thing because it actually allows everybody, all of us, the viewers and myself, to sort of stay updated with everything. Because you know how it is like, right? You know how when people buy, when people listen to music, talk about music, it has happened to all of us where we go, you know, oh, who's that new musician? Oh, who's that new artist? What's that new music? I've never heard of it before. When someone introduces it to you, now you get to know it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it sort of broadens your perspective. And this is no different. So if you ended up buying a new guitar, do let me know, because we're going to have a chat about it on the stream. And those guitar chats are always great because now it's a guitar that you got and you got experience with it. So that makes that discussion very interesting. All right. So with that being said, let's get started. Zuhair, you're here right now. How's the sound? Is the background music too loud? Is my microphone okay? Sound check, testing 1, 2, 3. Is everybody on? Tell me. YouTube, Twitch, we got people live on Twitch. Hey, Twitch. Howdy. Twitch, how's the sound? Tell me. Is the sound good? All right. So with that said, let us get started. So let's go to the first item on the docket. That is Mr. Angel Vivaldi's Everything Just at the Right Level. Love it. Your voice is a little louder, which is just right. Oh, that's great. Okay, good to know. That's a bit strange, given the fact that I'm still recovering from the Rona, and I lost my voice. But hey, I'll take it. All right, let us get the party started, shall we? Hoorah! So, for those who don't know, this is Angel Vivaldi. Angel Vivaldi is an electric guitar player, does solos. He's like the modern Joe Satriani, not really. He's just Angel Vivaldi. And he came up with this, Charvel and him came up with his new model. which was about, I think they said it's about 8 years in the making. And this is him on horseback. Yeah. Zohair says, love the devil goat or goat devil animation. I like Angel V's music. Oh yeah, he's good. Did you see his last video? I don't know if it was his last video, but the last video I saw of him like a few days ago, he was actually dancing, like R&B style dancing, like Usher. Yeah, and that's him, you know, doing the promo of the guitar on horseback, which is I've never seen anybody doing something like this. That's interesting. Now, the guy came with this new guitar, caramelized woods, flamed maple top, gold hardware, Pro Mod Nova 7 Nat is a guitar that plays the part that looks even better. So, Charvel has launched a brand new 7-string model for Angel Vivaldi. He's one of the most celebrated, prolific guitarists of modern times, that's for sure. And this new extended range axe is his latest in a long line of signature guitar with Charvel. It arrives after an exhaustive 8-year R&D process that brings considerable upgrades to the Nova line, first launched in 2019. So it is a slick humbucker super strat, pairs with caramelized basswood, modified Jackson DINKY body with a bolt-on caramelized maple neck, 12/16 compound radius maple fretboard, 24 jumbo frets, and the signature black inlay, the dots that he's got, which I adore, by the way. That's like so good. 2 DiMarzio humbuckers, the Tone Zone 7 in the bridge, Air Note 7 in the neck, and then 1 volume and tone knob. So that's the guitar. It is about 3,500 Australian dollars. That's 2,300 US dollars. And that's how it looks like. And I always said, I really, really dig the inlays on this. Look at the inlays. It looks like a space inlays. Do you know what I mean? Like planets orbiting. It reminds me, it's kind of like that. It's like one planet orbiting, and then you took a snapshot of that at different times. I don't know whether that was the idea behind it or not, but it looks super good. It really does. And the thing I like about, and you guys tell me how you feel about this. The thing I like about maple tops or bright wood tops and bright wood fretboards is that over time, as you play it, you see your own impact on that guitar. Yeah. Zohair says, not sure I like the inlays. Looks like random ink drops. It does. No, you're right. Don't be sorry, dude. You're allowed to dislike things that I like. That's completely fine. Yeah, no, I get it. I get your point. Is that just a general, like, a taste thing that you don't like? Like, for example, you know, I might like color blue and you might not like color blue. Is it like that? Or is it like a functional thing where you're like, okay, I want to see like orderly dots or inlays so that I can figure my way out around the fretboard. Is it that? But then you play a PRS. For fairness, not many things can really compete with PRS inlays. Because you got this beautiful birds. I mean, my lord, you've got this beautiful inlays, and a lot of them come in abalone. And how can you compete with this? You know what I mean? Zohair says, yeah, I think so, since I like the body in gold hardware, and it's the second thing you described, right? Not sure I like the inlays, looks randomly, no, you're right about that, yeah. But yeah, man, it's hard to compete with this. I'm not gonna lie. The man came up with this inlay pattern like in the 80s, 70s, 60s. I don't know when he came up with this, but yeah, it can't compete with this. And you already got a PRS here, so. So yeah. By the way, did you end up did you end up figuring out if you want to buy a new guitar or not? Because you told me that the PRS was heavy and you were thinking about changing that. Did you? That might be, but a couple of people recently let me know that PRS SE, which I have, is their lower end line. Gee, thank you. I needed to know that. Look, dude, it is their lower end line. Still haven't decided yet? Yeah. SE is their lower end line. But the thing is, not all lower end line guitars are made the same. Like the one that I showed you as well, that one is also an SE. And in all sincerity, I take that over 80% of like other 7-string guitars. And I'm being sincere about it. I've played with US made 7-string guitars, and I'm not going to name the brand. And I take that guitar over it any given day. Like since the CMC machines were introduced and other technologies were introduced, brother, I got two. Yeah, I liked it so much. I got literally two. I got the 7-string and the 6-string. I'll show you in a second. But what I'm saying is that because CMC machines can like literally are everywhere now, and the way the necks are carved are everywhere now, and the way that the wood is dried is all streamlined now, a lot of those hurdles to be able to make a good guitar can be done now anywhere. That's why Indonesia is so big in the Cortec, the factory in Indonesia. That's why they have such a crazy infrastructure in Indonesia now. And the guitars that come out of Indonesia are not bad at all. But let me show you this. So I bought this guitar first because I wanted the 7-string, right? That's a 7-string PRS. It's an SE model, right? I liked it so much that I bought the 6-string version of it. This is exactly the same guitar as that. The pickups are slightly different, but it's the same guitar. It's a different color, but it's exactly the same guitar. And I loved it. It's the only, by the way, Zuhair, if you're into flat fretboards, this PRS guitar, this and that, are the only ones in PRS's catalog, US or SE, like a production catalog, that has a 20-inch fretboard radius. So the radius on this guitar on the fretboard is like as flat as a table. And I love that. That's my preference. So if you're into it, that's the only guitar that PRS unfortunately got with 20-inch flat radius, yeah. So, there we go. Now, going back to Angel Vivaldi's. This is the guitar. This is how it looks like. Let's have a look. Yeah, that looks nice, doesn't it? And again, like, this is the thing with maple fretboards, right? You play it, you can see your sweat and grind on the neck, and over time, the color changes, it becomes yours. You don't see it as clearly on an ebony fretboard. Rosewood, maybe. Yeah, the darker it is, the harder to see, I guess. But this looks beautiful. Like, good. Ah, yeah, clearly roasted maple neck. Caramelized roasted. We talked about this in a couple of streams ago, I think. Basically, when you get a piece of wood, for you to be able to make it into a guitar, you have to dry that wood. The degree of moisture in that guitar, the percentage of moisture in that guitar, has to come down to between 5 to 7%. Otherwise, your guitar is not going to be structurally stable. Once this wood is down to 5 to 7%, some people oven the wood or leave the wood in heated rooms or oven for a little longer. And what that does, it burns the neck a little bit. So it's like darkens the wood. It doesn't really burn it, but it makes it a little darker. But you got the extra moisture now out of the way. That makes the neck structurally even more sound and stable. That's the purpose of caramelized or roasted necks. And they're the same, sort of a different words for the same concept. So that's that. You got a bolt on neck. So that's when your neck is screwed to your body. This curve here, what it means is that the neck headstock joint is a standard scarf joint. So there's two types of scarf joints for people who don't know. You got the normal standard scarf joint. The other one is the Spanish style scarf joint, and it's less stable, less structurally sound. So this is good. You got Angel Vivaldi's logo. Kind of, you guys tell me, doesn't this kind of look like Steve Vai's logo? Shaolin, why don't they make the bolt-ons like the ones on PRS CE? That bumps drives me nuts on guitars. You're 100% right. You are 100% correct. Did the question make sense? Did Shaolin's question make sense? Shaolin's saying, see the neck body joint here? It has a bump. And what Shaolin is saying is like, why can't they just do it like PRS CEs? So let me show you guys. Hold on. Let me show you guys exactly what Shaolin is talking about. Hola, hola, hola. Hola, hola, hola. By the way, CE, PRS CE, when he says it, what CE guys means classic electric, and that's the bolt-on, version of PRS guitars, which is like a custom 24 shape. So this is what he's talking about. So this is the PRS CE, for example. That's their Swamp Ash model, which is absolutely gorgeous. And this is what he's talking about. That carve makes your life a lot easier when it comes to accessing higher frets on your electric guitar, right? As opposed to doing, as opposed to doing this. Yeah, that bump is gonna come into your hand. You're exactly right. That was my thought when I first saw it. When I first saw that joint, I'm like, literally that bump comes to your eye. Yeah. Even if it was a flat, like a classic Fender style, sort of like a flat square, it wouldn't have that extra bump in there. That will make your life easier. But no, you're right. The bolts are on the body, no extrusion from the body. Yeah, look, I've heard arguments for and against, as opposed to having a plate. Whether you want to have the screws directly on the body as opposed to have a plate on it and then you put the screws in there. The arguments in favor of the plate makes more sense to me. So basically, guys, for those who, again, are not following it, basically what it means... Basically what it means is whether have a plate on or not when it comes to screwing the guitar on your body. But Shaolin just corrected me. He said, I mean the wood extrusion. Right. Let me reread what you said. The bolts, I guess what you meant. The bolts are on the body, no extrusion from the body. Right. Right. But yeah. But that's the back end. That's the back side of that guitar. Now, one thing I liked about it, just one thing I noticed, other than the reverse Fender headstock, is this carve, which is going to come really handy because a 7-string guitar usually is bigger and bulkier on the body side. So that's good. I'm glad that they've got that going on. And this is the front. You got your truss rod adjustment screws there. You got your couple of pickups, all gold hardware. The only downside with gold hardware is that if it's like over time, it gets corroded-ish, like the color, it gets decolored and all that jazz. But when you get it, at least it's perfect. And you can always service it out and all that. So yeah, that's how it looks like. Now, when it comes to the specs, DiMarzio Tone Zone 7 on the neck and DiMarzio Air Norton at the neck. Sorry, Tone Zone at the bridge. DiMarzio Air Norton at the neck is a 5-position blade, not 3. I thought it was 3 for whatever reason. Okay. It's 2 humbuckers. It is DINKY. So guys, for those who don't know, DINKY basically is like the evolution of Super Strat, where the body is a little smaller than the usual body of a Strat. So we had your Stratocaster shape, and then the Stratocaster shape became the Super Strat. Like, not became, like the new product came out, you know, inspired by the Strat, but they improved on the design, and that's the Super Strat. And the improvements were like, you know, you had thinner necks and slightly different frets, and then you had the body that was smaller and carved out. You had the body that was carved out, wasn't smaller, was carved out to make your life a little easier, and that became the Super Strat. Became a little bit more pointy. The design became a little bit more slick. You know what I mean? That's the Super Strat. And then Jackson, I think like 80s, if I'm not wrong, came out with this sort of a smaller Super Strat body design. And make it smaller has a lot of benefits to it. With the access, with your right hand, for example, how it sits with your body. Lighter. My gosh, it's lighter. Right? So that's where the DINKY design came from. Now, why it matters here, the reason I really liked it when I saw the word DINKY on this guitar, is because it's a 7-string guitar. And if you've ever had a 7-string guitar, you know that it is heavy. It's heavier than your usual guitars. And it shows. You feel it when you pick up a 7-string. So when it says DINKY, modified DINKY, I absolutely adore those two words, because that means that, you know, they've considered that. You know what I mean? Now, one interesting feature I notice here is that your guitar strap, it's not strap locks. I'm trying to find the right word. Sorry guys, I'm recovering from COVID. Words are not coming to me easy right now. Your strap locks, not strap locks, strap buttons. There we go. Your strap buttons are a little bit below your 12th fret, right? So what that tells me is that this guitar is not balanced, at least the way that usually the guitars are, because usually that strap button is around the 12th fret, right? I had the diagram open somewhere to show you guys. Give me a second. I'll show you exactly what I mean. Hold on. I did that diagram not that long ago. Like, I drew it and I'm like, it's already there. So I got it, found it. Yes. Hold on. So check this out. This is a guitar. Now, see where that where the strap button is? When you draw a line down, and the reason, by the way, the guitar is at like a 30, 45 degree angle, like this is because that's how we hold the guitar, right? Because that's how we hold the guitar. Now, if you draw a straight line down there from the upper horn where your strap button is, it divides your guitar into two halves. This is obviously the body half. So this is there we go. So this is the body half. This is the neck half, right? So it's not done from right when your neck is glued to your body or something. That's how it's calculated. Now this matters because it plays a role in how your guitar is balanced. So sometimes you have guitars that are body heavy. When you hold them, they sort of tilt towards the body. Sometimes you have guitars that are neck heavy, right? Now, usually for guitars that are already balanced, like standard, that strap button is at around the 12th fret. Like this line. This blue line is at around the 12th fret. Usually, right? Now, if I draw the line down, the lower horn and this bit, everything here contributes to the neck side of things. Everything on the other side is the body. Now, what would happen if your horn was longer? So I'm just going to make my horn a little longer here. So now let's just say this is what happened. Now you've added, by elongating that horn, by bringing that strap button to, higher up towards like your lower frets, what you've done is that you've added more torque to the body half of your guitar, which impacts your guitar balance. On the other side, if you shortened the horn, so this is where the horn is, so instead of being on the 12th fret, it's actually lower. What it does, it actually gives extra to your neck side of things. Does that make sense? Now, on a 7-string guitar, having your horn a little lowered, that this line falls below the 12th fret, is quite a common thing. It makes perfect sense. The reason for that is because you have a 7-string guitar, the body of the guitar is bigger, so the body is actually a lot heavier, right? Because with the neck, you just have to add a little bit of wood to accommodate for the 7th string, but the body is going to be a lot heavier. So you bring the horn down a little bit so that your neck got a bit more extra weight, so that the guitar still balances out well. That's the logic behind it. And that's why I thought that was like an interesting observation. Yeah. Zuhair says, today I played standing for the first time in years. Oh yeah, okay. How did that feel? A completely different experience, right? Not only aside from the fact that, like, you look down on your neck and you see the guitar differently and you got to figure yourself out a little. But also the attack of the pick. My gosh. It sounds different, doesn't it? You play differently. It's like the attack is different, the energy is different. Like your whole body is engaged. Did you move around a lot? Like, do you have that habit? Because when I have the strap on, like my guitar strap, no pun intended. when I have my guitar strap on, I like to walk around, and sometimes I like to actually do like minor headbangs, like dance with the, yeah. Felt good. I wear the guitar a little high. Opposite of Slash. Okay, yeah, not fair enough. And could play Tornado of Soul solo, even with Marty stretches. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's fantastic. Tornado of Souls is a great solo, and it's not an easy one either. Hats off to you. Look, it doesn't look cool, like if you have it all the way to the top, but it's just a look thing. As long as your wrist is comfortable and you're not injuring your wrist and straining it, then that's all that matters, And then slowly, you can bring it down and all that if you want to. Shaolin says, Strats usually have that. Sorry, dude, I missed out on that comment. Strats usually have what? Could you please clarify? Because I was looking at the diagram, I didn't see the chat. What do Strats usually have? And Zura says, on my Ibanez RGA42FM, the 12th fret is a bit above forward than the upper horn. Right. Sheldon says, strap button at the 12th fret. Yeah, right. Yes. That's a very standard feature. That's a very standard thing. So not a surprise. I won't be surprised if that came from Fender. Like something, I don't know this for a fact, but I kind of know it's true. That design was a Leo Fender design after I met. My gosh, the guy knew his stuff, didn't he? Like some genius in the 50s just revolutionized everything. Now, wearing a guitar all the way top, my God, that's like schoolboy doing his own work. Well, jazz players do it all the time. Like jazz bebop players, like it's always up here. You noticed? Every other guitar I have, it's sitting at around the 15th fret. Yeah, a lot of guitars. So what that tells me, like similar to what we discussed, is that they're putting more torque towards the neck, which means that the body initially was a bit heavier, so you shorten the horn to take away from the body's weight, and put more on the neck side. Yeah. And also, Zuhair, you said RGA42FM. I don't know what that is. Now, in my defense, Ibanez has a peculiar way of naming their guitars. So I don't think anybody should know, to be fully honest with you. I know RGAs, but I don't know RGA42FM. Hold on. Ibanez RGA42FM. Is that the one? Hold on. Ah, I'm with you now. Okay. That's the guitar, guys, by the way, if you're wondering. That's the guitar. Yeah. So you said, and then what did you say? Sorry, I saw the name of the guitar, and then the 12th fret is a bit above the fretboard. Right. So, yeah, that kind of is sitting around a 12 in this one. And I know your Ibanez might be a little different. It's a good looking guitar. I really dig this. I just wanted to see a bigger picture, dude. Give me... Ugh. Can I see like a bigger picture? There we go. You have the sunburst one. Okay. Let's check. Is it this one? Sunburst one? Yes. Yes. Ah, that looks superb. Dude, that looks really good. I dig this. Hell yeah. Look at that. Got the curly maple. It's nicely booked match on this one. And then you got a rosewood neck. That is really slick, right? Shaolin says that's like, I agree with you. That is really good. Yeah, right. You're right. Okay. So the horn is a bit lower. So the 12th fret sits a little bit above the upper horn. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. But dude, that guitar is such a woo. Holy smokes. Look at that red at the back too. What do we got here? Hold on. I want to get the specs from Ibanez's website. Because sometimes these stores do get it wrong. How many times I've seen they put like a thing that is not for that actual guitar. Hold on. There we go. Yes. It's called the Dragon Eye Burst, by the way. Zohair, if you like the naming, hold on, let me move myself. It's called the Dragon Eye Burst. Can you see it? So if you don't like the name Sunburst, you got the Dragon Eye, brother. Yeah. Shaolin says, I'm not big into Super Strat except the N4. Oh yeah. N4 is pretty special. Yeah, I know. I know you know. But sadly I don't have it anymore. What did you do to your N4? Hold on. Stop the music. We have I think we have a crime that occurred here. Hold on. Stop the music. Stop the music. Something criminal just happened that we need to talk about. Hold on. Where's my stream? There we go. Okay. Hold on. Stop the music. Shaolin, look at me. Look into my eyes. What did you do to that N4? You didn't sell it, did you? I'm waiting for a response. Let me have a look at the chat. Hold on. What? You sold it? Unbelievable. I'm kidding, dude. To be honest with you, oh, my biggest regret of my life. Yeah, I hear you, dude. I hear you. Had a Paduk version. Oh my! You had a Paduk. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Fair enough, dude. I remember I had to sell a guitar because of financial reasons, actually. And I was broke. I'll show you what Paduk is here. I was broke, and I had to sell that guitar because I didn't have money. I had to make rent. But yeah. So let me show you what Paduk is. Paduk, it is a type of wood, as Shaolin says. But Nuno Betancourt Paduk models are. Let me show you Washburn Nuno N4 Paduk. Same issue, financial. Yeah, I feel you. I get it, dude. That sucks. That really sucks. I'm so sorry. Look, my understanding is, Shaolin, my understanding is that new N4 batches are being produced and out in the market. They're going to be out in the market in around September, October this year. So I may be wrong, but keep an eye out. My understanding is that September, October, a new batch is coming out. So if you keep an eye out, you might be able to see it. All right, Zuhair, this is Paduk. So this is the Nuno Washburn N4. And this is the Paduk model. Yeah. Shaolin says, but I sold it to someone who wanted it, wanted one for years, so that was the upside. Hats off to you for seeing the upside and things like that. Firm handshakes to you. Good. That's beautiful. That's mature. That's wise, and that's beautiful. So hats off to you, pal. That's great. Yeah. All right, I'm not gonna dwell on this a bit more because that's not gonna feel nice. I've sold guitars. I've sold a guitar for financial reasons before, but so I'm not gonna dwell on that any longer. Thanks for sharing, man. I'm so sorry. I've done it. I know how bad it feels, and it's insane. Yeah. Still have a bunch of Washburn, so I'm good. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. I'm glad. Hold on. What is that? What are you doing? Antoinette! Sorry, guys. This psycho. What are you doing? What's that in your hand? Hold on a second. What's that in your hand? What? Whoa, 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 whoa. Is that a grenade? Is that a grenade? Come on! You stupid Antoinette. Why did you throw a grenade? I'm streaming. Unbelievable. Somebody threw a grenade on the... Did you guys see it? Oh, it's just this woman just threw a grenade at my stream. Sorry, guys. I had to run for my life for a second. Where's my camera? Jesus Christ. Who gave that psycho a grenade? She had a neon grenade. Did you see it? Hell yeah. Gotcha. How did you like that? How did you like the grenade? You guys think it's just like the guy just click on live and goes live, huh? Like athleticism goes into it. Like, you know how much I had to practice that dive that I just did? That was a 5-inch dive. Like, not everybody can do it. So, I'm just saying, putting it out there. All right, hold on. Let us go back to our... How's everybody doing? Is everyone still around? All right, let us go back. Glad you didn't break your neck from that 5-inch dive. You have no how much athleticism goes into that 5-inch dive. I don't know if any other guitarist ever achieved that, been able to ever achieve that feat. Like, I'm just saying, I'm not trying to blow my own horn here. Just putting it out there. So that concludes our discussion on Angel Vivaldi's Dinky. And I'll keep an eye out, make sure Antoinette doesn't throw another grenade my way. Hurt my ankle from a 3-inch pavement, so I feel ya. It takes athleticism, guys. It really does. Guitar life is not an easy life. That's your wife? No, that's my assistant. I wouldn't dare talking like that to my wife. I'll be homeless within a minute. I'm not sure if you guys know Latinas much. My wife's a Latina, Mrs. Peachy. Mrs. Peachy is from Latin America, and Latin American ladies got a certain kind of fire that you don't want to mess with, okay? Because otherwise, you know, on a good day, you have to sleep on the couch that night. On a bad day, you'd be homeless within minutes. So, Mrs. Peachy is peligrosa, as they say, in Espanol. No, her name is not Antoinette. No, I wouldn't dare talk to her like that. Shaolin says, aesthetically, that guitar kind of reminds me of the Washburn X81 face eraser. Zohair says, let's talk some music if you want. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's jump to the next item on the docket. So, you guys saw this or not? I'm not sure if you saw it. Joe Satriani, on why he doesn't rate vintage guitars. The musician has to connect with the guitar for it to become special. I really like this topic. I wanted to see that. I wanted to bring this up in the stream because you know how when it comes to like vintage guitar talk, there is this bias towards vintage guitar. People think vintage is better. And it's honestly not always the case. I'm of the school of thought that no, modern is actually better. It's just that some of our heroes played vintage and we like the sound of that and we like the vibe of that. But ultimately, vintage or not, nope, they aren't. Yeah. But obvious, like the thing is, vintage or not, no matter what guitar it is, you, the player, are the anchor point on that. You're the decision maker on that. You have to like the guitar. That guitar can be from the 50s, or it can be from the future, right? You have to like it. You have to vibe with it and play with it. I don't understand this one thing that is being left out in the guitar world a lot, as all of us start to focus on techniques and playing fast and sweep picking and tapping and all the good stuff that is fun to do. But we're so focused on that we forget that the person that has the most fun has won, not the person that can play the fastest. Do you know what I mean? The person that has the most fun with his or her guitar, that person's won in life. Because that attitude can be towards anything, not just guitar. And we tend to forget that for some reason. Shaolin says, they played vintage because they were cheaper for some time, and most of these guys started broke. That can be the case too, but there are really expensive vintage guitars. Like really expensive vintage Gibsons and Fender Strats and Tellys and all that jazz. So you're right, a lot of older guitars are less expensive, but some of them are much more expensive. Now, right. They used to be cheap. Right. Yeah. That certainly is a reason, yeah. But that's the thing. Again, ultimately, you, the player, have to love your guitar and have a good time with it. You know? And some of us who like buy a lot of guitars, or, you know, or will buy a lot of guitars in the future, it's really is, it's not so much like, I thought about it, I'm like, why do I have to buy 10 guitars? Because that's what I've got, like the other ones sponsors gave me, right? I was like, why do I have to buy 10? And I realized, look, it's part of it is the excitement of obviously buying something new, and it's something that I love and I get to play around and all that jazz. But another part of it is the curiosity to see how it feels and sounds and what can I do with it? You know what I mean? And as long as we can just have a good time with it, no matter if you have 100 guitars or just one, the person that has the most fun has won in life. That's the truth, guys. We only live once. Yeah. So yeah, rare guitar seekers search high and low for guitars owned by the greats in the hope that they can capture some of the same magic. But for Joe Satriani, working in a guitar shop disillusioned him to these collectibles simply because they don't always sound as good as their price tags suggest, like we've all been saying in the chat and on the stream so far. Having exclusive access to some of the most expensive, most valuable, rare guitars, sorry. Sorry guys, still recovering from the Rona. Having exclusive access to some of the most expensive, most valuable rare guitars, Satriani tells D'Addario he discovered what they sounded like, and while a dream job to many, the experience made the scales fall from his eyes. There's nothing special about it, Satch admitted. Satch believes that players should connect with the guitar, rather than chasing after vintage instruments for the sake of it. It becomes special to them and the hallmark of their own sound. Unfortunately, this would mean that buying a guitar previously owned by a guitar god doesn't mean that you'll get much out of it yourself. In fact, I'll add something to that. Have you ever gone to your friend's place and played with their gear? You'll still sound like yourself on somebody else's gear, right? You'd think, oh, I'm gonna, excuse me, I'm gonna play with that person's gear and I'm gonna sound like that person. And it's never gonna be the case. You're still gonna sound like you. Yeah. The realization encouraged Satch to build custom guitars instead, but it was really to get by week to week, he says. Get by week to week, he says. And to do the gig I was doing at the time. Outside his disco band playing around the East Coast, which was going nowhere, his solo music career was beginning to grow. Satch began realizing this after receiving a short but sweet review on his debut solo album, Not of This Earth, in Guitar Player. But yeah, it's it is the reality. We tend to forget it much more often than we should. Now, I did miss some chats earlier on. Zuhair did say something after he said, let's talk music if you want. Where is it? I said, dude, I wish you lived near. I moved out of NYC and in upper New York State right now. I need friends. All friends, people I know far away and all that. You're so fun. Ah, thanks, brother. Thank you. Hold on, I've got another. Check this out. Did you see it? Thanks, man. Look, it's always good to have more friends. Go and make friends. You know, the stream is always here. We're on every week. The video's out. You know, we can come and chit chat together So I'm here, right? It's not gonna go anywhere. But still try to go out and make some friends and play with people and like play guitar jam with people and get to know people and all that jazz. And I mean, there's a lot of people in New York, right? That face. Yeah, I'm trying to put myself out there more, meet people, and thanks. Yeah, dude. Yeah, put yourself out there. Have fun, meet people, have a drink, chill, you know. It's just one life, man. Like I said earlier, we just got one life. Got to make the best out of it. Shalin says, when people realized that Leo Fender chose Alder not for the tone, but because it was cheaper to buy, they realized that even back then it was about production costs and how it would sound. Yeah, you're right. A lot of the things were like, this was like magical. This is crazy. Like this was all an evil plan. Turns out that it was. It's the same story with, not the exact same story, I guess, but it was the same story with, do you guys know the story behind humbuckers? Like why they're called humbuckers? Like, you know, dual coil pickups. So Ted McCarty, Gibson at the time, right? Ted McCarty literally was looking for a pickup that would buck the hum. That's why they call it the humbucker. Yeah, so humbuckers like kill the hum. Like the whole purpose of a dual coil pickup was to kill all that noise and the hum that your single coil pickup generates, right? And Ted McCarty, working at Gibson at the time, Ted McCarty, for those who don't know, is the guy who basically created Les Paul. Like there was two geniuses in electric guitar history. One is Leo Fender, the other one is Ted McCarty, right? Like these are the forefathers. These are our founding fathers, for the lack of a better word. And he was looking for something to buck the hum. That's why they're called humbuckers. And Les Paul himself. Yeah, that's true. I can't believe I said the Les Paul guitar and didn't mention Les Paul. And Les Paul himself. So that Mount Rushmore has 3 people on it. Who do you guys put? Like, if we want to talk about Mount Rushmore, and let's just say Mount Rushmore of guitar, you know, electric guitar, Leo Fender, Ted McCarty, Les Paul himself, who would you put at 4th? I wonder. What do you guys think? I've got an answer in my mind, but my answer is going to be very sacrilegious. People are going to hate me when I say it. Who is your 4th person in that Mount Rushmore? So Leo Fender, Ted McCarty, Les Paul himself, the guy from Gretsch. Who's the guy from Gretsch? I don't know the guy from Gretsch. Hold on. Founder luthier of Gretsch guitars. Frederick Gretsch. Is that who you're talking about? Frederick Gretsch? Don't remember the name, but he was the same crowd with Fender and Les Paul himself. Right, okay. Yeah, Frederick Gretsch. Okay, fair enough. I put, and again, people are going to hate me for it. I usually get a lot of complaints when I say this. Mine is Paul Reed Smith himself. I really, really, really appreciate the way he makes the guitars. Now, he doesn't make the guitars himself anymore. But the way that he brought the Gibson and Fender paradigm, and not only for his own guitars, Shaolin says, yeah, I know, man. Here's the reason I like him, and I know that a lot of people disagree with it, but the reason I like, other than the fact that I like his guitars, he brought in the Fender paradigm and the Gibson paradigm of guitar building together, and not only did that for his own guitars, but he actually sort of like unlocked the industry. Like people didn't want to bite on other people's stuff, and then he did that, and somehow like the rest of the industry sort of did the same thing, and so that became sort of a sort of like a sort of the grounds that prepared the grounds for the guitars to become better and better. So I'll give you guys an example. So for example, in the Fender guitar building paradigm, you have one piece of wood when it comes to your neck to your headstock. It's just one straight piece of wood that is carved a lot of times. And so the angle between the headstock and the neck is 0. That's why you need the string trees on your headstock so that your strings don't pop out of the nut as you're playing it. Let me stop the music. Hold on. So have a look here. Fender headstock string tree. So have a look. See this, the tree? This is the tree, these two. Let me move myself. Here we go. Okay, so these two are string trees. Now, because the Fender neck and headstock is just one piece of wood and it's just a straight line, there's no angles, the trees have to be placed there so that when you play, your strings don't pop out of the nut. The Les Pauls, however, as Shaolin very correctly said, has an angle. And so that solves the issue of your strings popping out. Not only it has an angle, the strings also approach the nut at a different horizontal angle too. So if I go to Les Paul guitar headstock, there we go. See how it's not always straight down. See how the strings are coming at an angled position, right? And here, there was a 3-4 degree, 3-4-5 degree angle. I don't remember the exact angle there in the first Gibson that was raised. I knew it. I just don't remember what it was. I think around 5 degrees, if I'm not mistaken. 3-4 degrees, right? And so that solves the problem there. Another difference between the Gibson and Fender guitar building paradigm is the angle between the neck and the body joint. The saddles, the bridge, right? Things of that nature. What PRS did really well was that he brought in the best of both worlds and put it into his guitars. And then that turned, like, his guitars was like, high quality, crazy stuff. And then the next thing that he did, and Shaolin, you and I are exactly on the same frequency here, pal. He put those high-end, like, custom shop guitars and turned it into a production guitar. Right. And so it's that's the reason why I really like what he does. His quality of his guitars are out of this world. By far, these guitars are the most stable and reliable guitars. I'll die on this hill. And my favorite guitar is a Washburn N4 right now, right? So I'm not like in a cult or anything. But what this man did in bringing those two paradigms together, and then allow the rest of the industry to do the same and mass produce those, is that. Headstock is 17 degrees. Oh, okay. It's a little bit more than I remember, but I'll take your word for it. Yeah. Now, Zuer says, glad PRS is alive and kicking, and he seems focused on what customers want on his guitars. Yeah, he's so passionate about guitars. Like, when you see him talk, he really loves what he does, which is always great, right? The master luthier is running the show as opposed to some hedge fund manager, Which guitars are the most stable, reliable? PRS. US made, Maryland made PRS guitars are insane. In fact, and again, you can search this online yourself. When it comes to like session players, taking guitars to recording studios and doing session work for others, right? everybody. There was a time, I can tell this for a fact. There was a time that some companies would not let the session player to bring any other guitar other than the PRS there because of stability and intonation. A lot of stories like that on Google, on the internet. I urge everybody to do a Google search on this. Yeah. Guess I'm not selling mine. Well, you can sell yours and buy a less heavier one. You know? You can always do that. Shaolin says N4. Yeah, man. I got 2 N4s at home, and I adore them. I play with them more than any other guitar right now. There's something magical about the N4s. And once you get used to the Stevens extended cutaway, it's hard to go to something else. Yeah. If only Washburn was ran like PRS, or a passionate master luthier who came up with this stuff ran the show and made sure that the guitars are well taken care of and well built, and the customers are well taken care of and well built. But hey, we can all dream. Zuhair says, I had a dead fret once at one of the high frets, but it's been fixed now. Oh, okay, fair enough. That's not usually good, but I'm glad you got it fixed. It's like little things, man. Something is like a centimeter or something off on a guitar and makes a difference. Shaolin says, got 2 of them. PRS C248. My gosh, okay, which is the one that actually shared the screen on earlier on. That's the one. Hold on. So you might not have this color or this wood, but that's the model. Terrible switch position and thin pickups. And the 2459 Zack Mayers, which is perfect. The black limbo one. Ah, okay, hold on. Let's check it out. I haven't seen it. Ooh. Ooh. Nice, okay. I really like the natural wood colors, y'all, I'll tell you. And I keep saying this on the stream. I really dig this color. Dude, that's a beautiful guitar. What's the problem with the switch position? Is it too far out? What don't you like about it? Because that seems like a good place. Like either there or on the lower horn, like an N4, is an ideal place to me. I really don't like the Les Paul switches. Like this is like actually really good. What's the problem with it? Yeah. I actually have one pictured on the side. Ah, nice. Okay. I see the CEs usually go for 500 or so. You're right. The CE SE model, Zuhair, is $499. The last time I checked it. You're exactly right. Yeah. That's my guitar. Yep. Natural wood. Heck yeah. You prefer the Les Paul ones? Okay. That's fair enough. What do you like about the Les Paul ones? Is it just like the comfort? This is what I have against the Les Paul ones. When I tap, that switch goes into my arm. Like when I'm trying to tap, bring my right arm in, it always digs into my forearm. Yeah. Yeah, but some people prefer it, man. Now, some people, it's like, it's not horrible. Like, it's just a matter of preference, you know? Like, some people really like it because it's easier for them to flick it around in a position up there. Just feels more natural movement. Yeah, I get it. Here's the thing, right? Everyone's body and physique works so differently. We don't notice that. That's why, that's why everyone sounds different when they play. And that's the beauty of it. I totally understand if you like that more. Like it makes perfect sense to me. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's a beautiful guitar. You got one heck of a beauty. I'm sorry about the switch position not being, you know, your favorite, but that's a beautiful guitar. Yeah. Nice. Okay. And then there was another guitar you said you got, the Zack Mayers one. It is the Zack Mayers one the US made one? I don't know what the Zack Mayers one is. I can't think of it right now. Hold on. PRS Zack Mayers. It's an SE model. Right. Yeah. I'm with you now. I've seen it before. It's a semi-hollow. Did I miss it? No. No. It's here. Zack Mayers. That's the lefty. And that's the non-lefty. Right. Ah, now we know why. The Zack Mayers one is perfect. Look where the pickup switch is. Fair enough. So, Shaolin, if you play a semi-hollow guitar, I would expect that you play, I would guess that you would play more jazzy, rocky style of music as opposed to like gent. Is that correct? Is that an accurate assumption? The guitar looks beautiful. No, metalhead. Oh, okay. So how does playing metal on a semi-hollow guitar work? Like, can you get a nice tight low end out of this? I'd be interested to know. Cause you're right. When you have a hollow body or a semi-hollow guitar, like it's lighter, so that's a massive advantage, especially if you practice for longer hours. Yes, so you can actually get a nice tight low end out of this. Oh, that's superb good. That's super good. The pickups are great. What are the pickups? 24.5S. Right, okay. That's interesting. That's so interesting. It's a beautiful guitar, by the way. My goodness. Such a beautiful blue. Right, okay. Well, there we go. You got pickups that pick up the frequency so well that, you know, you can get actually a tight low end sound. That's so good. The neck is so comfy. What do we got on the neck? Mahogany satin finish, thank God. Multiply neck construction, love that. It's a wide fat neck. Yeah, right. So you like fatter necks. 7/8 is pretty big in a wide fat neck. Okay. So you're a type of person that like thicker necks, which is fantastic. Okay. Thick and wide. Not so fat, but wide. Yeah, let's check out the specs on this. Mahogany, shallow violin, top carve. Oh God, okay, so it's an SE guitar with a top carve. Love it. 22 frets. 10-inch fretboard. Birds SE signature, and then what do you got? PRS stop tail in the bridge. Vintage style tuners, nickel hardware. And it comes with for $942. Okay, nice. Very interesting. Okay, I'll check out the sound of this. But this blue, this whale blue color is so nice. And I know, like, usually for SEs, if I'm not mistaken, it's a veneer. But my goodness, they do such a good job. Like, this looks beautiful. and I got like 2 SE models sitting back there. It's a little darker in person. Right, okay. Nice. Okay. Fair enough. I'm glad you like that guitar, dude. That's a good thing. Now, let me just do something, guys. I just need to do one quick thing before we move on. Okay. Now, check this out. I wanted to talk about this particular. Are you guys familiar with Fernandes guitars by any chance? Cream rings and better tuners. Nice, okay. Yeah, right. That cream tuners, like the tuning keys, is gonna make it look even better. Goes well with that blue color. Acoustics? Fernandes guitars, yeah. So Fernandes guitars is like this Japanese brand that it's like it's like a legendary old school brand, and they didn't do just acoustics. They did electrics as well. So let me see if I can bring it up for you guys to see. Like they had a whole bunch of electric models there, and all that jazz. And if anyone wants to buy Fernandes guitars, didn't Kirk Hammett use in early years? I don't know, actually. I don't know if Kirk used that early years or not. But it's a Japanese company, and at some point they were very, very, very what's the word for it? Really big. Like they were very prominent at some point. Now these Fernandes guitars, I'm trying to find a good photo of like an electric one there. Give me a second. If I can find it, I'll show you. Hold on. This is like an old magazine that I'm trying to find for you guys. Yeah, okay. So they had like these models, right? Bunch of different electric guitar models. And they were pretty prominent. Now, the sad news is, unfortunately, is that they are going bankrupt again. So they went bankrupt, I think July last year sometime, but now they're filing for bankruptcy again. And it looks like that their trademark and IP is getting transferred to another company. And I don't know why my gut feeling says it's Fender. So here's the thing. Let me, bring this back to its initial size. Hold on, there we go. Better. So yeah, because the thing is, like Fender, the companies that own Fender, they've been doing a whole bunch of M&A, mergings and acquisitions and all that jazz. They bought Reverb, for those who don't know. So the companies that own Fender bought Reverb. So in that portfolio now there's Fender, Jackson, Bigsby, Charvel, Eddie Van Halen, Squier, Reverb, name it. And I won't be surprised at all. Something tells me that Fernandes IP and trademark will also go to Fender, but I may be wrong. But some people are already sharpening up the knives there. Fernandes Guitars has entered bankruptcy proceeding once again, but this time there is some hope that the legendary Japanese guitar brand might continue in some form. The company previously filed for bankruptcy in July 2024. Shortly after, Fernandes withdrew its petition, but the company hasn't made any announcements since. Shaolin says, Fender and Gibson are two top dogs. The third place is so far back in sales. No wonder smaller maker goes belly up. Yeah, you're right. It's a rough market right now, man. It's a rough market right now. Smaller builders and also smaller stores, mom and pop stores, are shutting down left and right. So yeah. Now, thing is, the Tokyo-based news outlet Nikkei, if you've been to Japan, you know what Nikkei is. It's like a news outlet. It's like a main news outlet. Has confirmed that the company has refiled for bankruptcy, with filing claiming that the brand has amassed a total debt of around 730 million yen. That's $4.9 million. The Tokyo District Court granted permission for proceedings to begin on July 9th. Zohair says, dude, I gotta go. I need to attend to my life. Take care. You take care too. You will see IG messages if I message, right? I will see your IG messages if you message. You told me you're gonna message me 2 weeks ago, and I didn't get anything. Take care of yourself, man. Thanks for joining. I'll see you sometime soon. Take care. But yeah, an interesting wrinkle to the new filing, however, is the confirmation that part of the Fernandes trademark has been transferred to another company in advance of these proceedings. While no details have been revealed at this stage, it could potentially mean that Fernandes will continue in some part. Again, my bet is, if I was to bet on it, my bet is that it'll be part of Fenders. Yeah. Fernandes' history begins in '69. It became the go-to provider for budget import guitars. They're also known for sustainer pickup, which is widely used by other brands as an aftermarket add-on. Yeah. So it's insanity. It's insanity. And Zuhair earlier on was right. Kirk Hammett did own one too. Green Day's Billy Joel Armstrong used one. Ed O'Brien of Radiohead, Robert Fripp of King Crimson. Yeah. So yet another company going bankrupt in this amazing market. Not good, man. It's sad. The thing is, like, it's not even restricted to smaller brands and companies. Wasn't there like 2 European guitar retail giants that went belly up? Like, those guys were like, I don't know, 5 million-ish also in the hole. 5 million-ish upside down, and 6 point something million pounds, if I'm not mistaken. Both of them went upside down and belly up, as they say. Which is a sad thing. The thing is, like, I'm just hoping that there's no like, Gibson and Fender are already too big. I just hope that it's not, like, it doesn't turn into a monopoly. I'm pretty sure that's why Rudy Schaller sold Washburn. Bad sales and financial troubles. Yeah, it could be. Oh, look who's here, Dorotio. Hola, vatos locos. Hola. ¿Qué tal, Doroteo? ¿Qué hay de nueva? ¿Todo bien? ¿Qué hay de nueva, amigo? How are you doing, brother? How's things? Now, I got one more guitar to show you guys on the stream today, and it's a really special guitar. It's a very interesting guitar. And when I was reading about it, I was like, wow, that's insane. I got to know this guitar because one of our viewers last week, Jim, if you guys know Jim, he was in the stream last week and he told me that he bought that new guitar. It's an old school guitar. It's a vintage guitar from 1980. But there's one unique thing that was really interesting about it that blew my mind, and I've never heard anything like it before. And I was like, I gotta talk about this guitar with you guys today. Now, granted, earlier in the stream, we said, look, a guitar is only special if the player likes it, if the player finds it special. So I'm not arguing that because it's vintage, it's special, but there's one unique thing about it, which I was like, holy smokes, that's ridiculous. So, with that said, I would like to introduce you guys to... Am I watching the UFC fights tonight? I may watch some UFC fights tonight. I know Paulo Costa's fighting, so I may watch some tonight. Yeah, I'll check it out. Now, going back, check this guitar out. This is a Carvin DC 160. Now, in a second, I'll tell you guys what's so special about it. But this is a Carvin 160. Now, for those who don't know, Carvin is actually what Kiesel used to be. So you guys know Kiesel guitars? Who doesn't know Kiesel guitars? So Kiesel guitars is this like really, really modern brand now, I guess. Like they're really good at producing more modern guitars, headless stuff. Their Kyber model is insane. Carvins are really, really good. They're fire. They used to be amazing when they were producing them under Carvin, right? Now, Carvins started in the 60s, if I'm not wrong. Like, they're pretty old school guitars. It used to be a Carvin corporation, and they did guitars and amps. Later, in 2015, Carvin was sort of divided. The business of Carvin was divided into 2 companies. Now, the person that founded Carvin was Mr. Kiesel Sr., Lowell Kiesel, right? That was the guy who founded the company and brought it up to life, right? They had guitars, they had amps. In 2015, not 16, in 2015, Carvin's business divided into two. Carvin Corp and Kiesel Guitars, which took over the guitar part of the business. And Lowell's son, Mark, and Mark's son running Kiesel now, as it is. So that's like a brief history on Carvin for those who don't know what Carvin is. They do guitars, they do amazing amps. And the guitar business got separated for the rest of the business. And Lowell's son, Mark, and his son are running Kiesel Guitars now. That's where it sits now, 10 years after it got divided. Okay, so that's the history on Carvins for those who don't know. They had this model DC150 that kind of looked like this, and then they improved on it, and this is the next model, DC160, right? Now, check out this guitar, other than the amazing looks of it, and got the sort of like a goldish inlays going on there. You know, you got your top. Notice the neck body joint, if you guys can see it. It's actually glued to the body sort of in a pointy way, which is very similar to the way that Jackson King V's necks are glued to the body of the guitar. This is not like a normal standard, like a Les Paul set neck, if you know what I mean. So that was like a really interesting thing for me when I was looking at it. Now check this out. That's actually beautiful, right? That's the joint I was talking about. Can you guys see it? Shaolin says, yep, they used to have really monster apps, the V3. Yeah, there we go. Doroteo says, Carvin DC series are badass. They're pretty good. And the reason I brought it up, Doroteo, one of our viewers last week, Jim, bought one just like a few days ago. And he commented on one of the videos and told me about it. And I was like, I gotta talk about this guitar. Right? And by the way, if you guys buy a new guitar, let me know. Let's talk about it. It broadens everyone's perspective, including mine, when it comes to like what stuff that is out there and new guitars and old guitars. And it makes for interesting conversations, so please do. But this guitar is a total beauty. It has its own, you know, rather interesting pickup switch config. It has two inputs there, so my guess is that some sort of a piezo. I don't know why the two jacks, two inputs. And that's the guitar. Now, the thing that I found interesting about it was the fact that this guitar's hardware, as you can see, so the tuning knobs, these little rings, the bridge, all of these stuff, that's the bridge, all of these stuff are made out of 24 karat gold. And I was like, that's insane. I couldn't believe it. First of all, so for those who don't know, 24 karat, that's like basically pure gold. That's like 99 point something % gold in that metal, right? Because there's a lot of impurities. No, not plated. Gold. No, I know plated. I've got gold plated guitars, right? I know what plated is. This particular one is made out of 24 karat gold, not plated. Yeah, and heavy. And heavy. Let's see. Shaolin says, I don't think it would hold the string tension. Then the article I read about this was wrong. Because when I was researching this guitar, let me see. Give me a second. Hold on. Ah, right. No, guys, I stand corrected. Shaolin is completely right. The article that I read was clearly incorrect. And I gave you guys incorrect information. My apologies. I stand corrected. I'm going to apologize from everybody for the incorrect info that I just gave. I should have done a better research on that, guys. I'm really sorry. And Shaolin is completely right. Gold is actually too soft to be able to hold the string tension. So the article that I read said it was made out of 24K gold, but I don't think that was an accurate info then. I stand corrected. So 24K gold plated then, very likely. But then again, I'm going to do more research on it and see if I can find actual like good info on this thing. And I'll let you guys I'll let you know about it next week on next week's stream. Man, I'm embarrassed. Sorry. I did research on this guitar. So when I talk about it, I know what I'm talking about, but clearly that article that I read about it was not good. So thanks, Shaolin. Thanks for the correction there. But yeah, let me go back to the guitar. Shaolin says, I think cash grabbing companies would have flooded the market with actual gold hardware if it was possible. Could be. I don't know. My thing is that it's heavy. If you put it on the guitar, I don't know what's gonna do to the weight of that guitar, all that gold. But yeah. So that's the guitar. And one of our friends, Jim, who was on the stream with us last week, got it. And this is like a quick history of the guitar. If you guys are interested to have a look at it, it's on Kiesel Museum's website. So Kiesel has a Kiesel Museum website where they go through the ins and outs of the model and they talk about, you know, when was built and a whole bunch of stuff about it if you want to check it out. But yeah, I was like, that's an interesting guitar. I wanted to talk about it with you guys. And that's sort of like a Les Paul model too, the CM130. Yeah, good old stuff. Man, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Santana model guitar that Carlos Santana rocks. It really reminds me of that. Shaolin says, can you imagine the price? An ounce of gold is what, $3,300? Yeah. Good question. What is the price of an ounce of gold right now? Price. That is, yeah, you're very right. That is $3,300. $3,360. You said $3,349. Yeah, close. It will be a very expensive guitar by now. I don't know what the price was in let me see, in 1980s. So in 1980, yeah. So in the year 1980, the gold reached a high of approximately $850. Yeah. So a Floyd is 1.5 pounds. Well, 1.5 pounds if it's like nickel, right? If it's like some sort of a nickel, comp. Yeah, no, that's the thing. But yeah, that's insane. The thing is, like, I have a feeling that when it comes to the design of these guitars, the fact that they had the two equal horns, like the way they do in a symmetrical fashion, my guess is that like that's just like more of like a balancing thing that we're trying to do, because it's not aesthetically like even if you look at like Gibson SGs, for example, I never found them aesthetically pleasing. That symmetrical stuff. I was always a Strat guy, or I like Tellys too, even super Strat shapes, like, you know. Doroteo says Jason Becker. was a Carvin artist. Ah, right. Okay, I didn't know that. Hold on, let's see if we can find Jason Becker's guitar. That Dorothy just mentioned. Jason Becker, Carvin guitar. Let us see. Oh, it's that guitar. Okay, hold on. So hold on, you mean to tell me I'm a Carvin guy? Hey Jim, how you doing? We were just, I don't know when you joined the stream. We were just talking about your guitar. How's the new gear going? How's it treating you? You like it? Playing that guitar right now. Is it this one, Jim? What's the color? What's the top wood? Just now, great. Yeah, okay. Good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So yeah, we were just gossiping about your guitar. Now, Giorgio said that that's Jason Becker's guitar was also Carvin, and I didn't know. So I knew Kiesel's have this numbered fretboard guitar. You know that's pretty. I didn't know that was the one that Jason Becker actually played. Maple 5/8 top, right orientation. Heck yes. Heck yes. Have a great time with it, man. That's a beautiful guitar you got there. So, I think that's the Jason Becker guitar you're talking about, Doroteo. Yeah. And Jim is playing it through Carvin amp and cap. Wow, you really are. So you're a fan of Carvins. You're a Carvin guy. Are you a Carvin and a Kiesel guy? Or are you just a Carvin guy, Jim? It's a solid maple top. There you go. Now, I did miss what Shaolin said earlier on. We were talking about gold hardware. So Jim, just to bring you up to speed on the conversation, we were talking about, I made a mistake thinking that the hardware of the guitar was actually made out of gold. There was an article about it I read that said so, and I took their word and I shouldn't have. And Shaolin corrected me saying that, look, the gold is actually too soft to hold string tension, and he was 100% correct. So we're talking about that, and then we were talking about how much it's gold plated. Yeah, I made a mistake. I have gold plated guitars. Like, I know what gold plated hardware is, but I thought that was like a special thing on that guitar, and I was wrong. Gold is too soft to hold string tension. Now, the thing is though, that we were talking about how much a guitar would weigh if it was possible to have your hardware with gold. So a Floyd Rose, Shaolin did the calculation saying it's 1.5 pounds, usually. If you were to make it with gold, that would make it 16 pounds. 16 ounces, sorry. So 16 ounces. So a guitar would go for $50K US just for the hardware. Yeah. That's an expensive guitar. Though, for fairness, we do have more expensive guitars. We have like guitars that are way more expensive. How much is Peter Greeny's guitar that Kirk Hammett is playing worth right now? Like $500,000? $1 million? How much? I think he bought it for $500,000. So show the back of the Carvin again? Yeah, sure, dude. Yeah. It's a beautiful one. Yeah. I think it's just a two-piece. I don't think it has a... It's just a two-piece. It's just a two-piece booked match. I don't think there was like a top or bottom wood. It's just a two-piece if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. See that? It's just a two-piece book matched. I don't think. Hold on. There was a better view of the. Here we go. Yeah. Solid maple. Weighs a ton. I was just about to ask you that. How much it weighs. So it's a heavy guitar. Right. But it's one heck of, it's a beauty, I gotta tell you. Yeah, you know, quilted maple stuff, or quilted maple is beautiful. Yeah. Ha. How did the pickup sound, by the way? Is it like a, are you getting like a nice, warm, sort of a mid-heavy sound out of those pickups? It's a screamer. Right, nice. Heck yeah. Okay, give me one quick second. That's a better song. Sorry, the background was distracting me a little. Has a clear, clean bridge. Oh, that's so good. Warm, fat neck pickup. Heck yes. Yeah, I love those. Like a nice, warm, fat neck pickup is my favorite neck pickup. Like that's the kind of sound I would go for too. I'm so glad you like it, dude. I'm so glad it worked out well. The weight of it kind of comes with the territory, you know? But that's nice. That's infinite sustain. Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I don't know. I have a feeling that with more newer models, like not all luthiers actually put a lot of attention in how much sustain a guitar acoustically has, the electric guitar. Because now we have all this effect chains and everything else to sort of make the guitar sustain a little longer. Yeah. Shaolin says, okay, gotta get some sleep, gotta work tomorrow. Catch you next time. Catch you next time, Shaolin. Appreciate you, brother. Good to see you. And I'll see you next week sometime. Take a good care of yourself. Have a good day of work tomorrow. Peace. Neck like a major league bat. Yeah, it's a thick, fat neck. It's like, well, the guitar is from the 80s, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. It is a fat neck, huh? And how's the, tell me, Jim, how's the guitar heel? How's the access to the higher frets? Because I see a bit of a bump in there. Mine is a 1980. Yeah, right. There we go. So, how's the access to the higher frets? Is it good? Or is the fat neck and that bump doesn't let you get fully down there? Because I know some old school guitars, because of the fatness of the neck and the neck body joint, doesn't give you necessarily that ease of access. But this looks like it's well carved. Just looking at the photo. Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. But yeah, we were going through some of the like old in Kiesel Museum's website. We were going through some of the old stuff, including the DC. Yeah, nice, not modern, but better than Gibson of the same time. Right, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, have a great time with it, man. Enjoy it as every bit as possible. Yeah. All right. I think I am going to call it off here, guys. We've been streaming for almost 2 hours. And I think I'm going to leave it there. But before we go, the 22 pole pickups are great. Bang. Well, my guy, I have a great time with it. I'm like, new guitar is always exciting, you know? And I'm glad you got one that you vibe with, and you got the amp and everything else. Yeah. But anyways, guys, gotta go. I'll see you all next week. We're going to be posting some awesome videos this week. Check them out. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do it. And with that said, I'll see you next week. Remember, it's the weekend. Live only once. We live only once. Have fun. It's the weekend. Play some, practice, and all the good stuff. Mwah! I'll see you next week. Woo! Weekend time, baby. Weekend time, baby. Live it. Another one. Another one. Take care, y'all. Have a great weekend. Live, laugh, drink, play guitar, be happy, all the good stuff. Wow. See you later.